He's getting older.
Come with me if you want to live.
But not wiser.
Pour some sugar on me.
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today, Tuesday, the 28th of October in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014. Welcome one, welcome all to The Lefty Show, episode number 107. Hope to put on a good show for you today. Don't get too angry. That's going to be the mantra of today's show. Don't get too angry. Not for me. I'm going to get as angry as I want. It's my damn show. Kiss my ass if you don't like it. I'm going to get as angry as I want. But you, oh, you, don't get too angry. That's all I'm going to say. It's not really all I'm going to say. I'm going to say a lot more than that. But that's my word of caution, my word of warning, my plea with you today. Don't get too angry. We're going to talk about some things, and I'm going to say some things. And depending on what you feel, what you think on the inside, perhaps even what you do on weekends, or like 3 times a day, if you're of a certain faction, you may, your response, your ingrained response might be to get angry. But don't fight that. Not attacking you personally. I'm not coming after you. I'm not trying to make you feel dumb. I'm not trying to make you feel like an idiot or stupid. And I'm not trying to make you feel scared. You may come away feeling scared. That's natural. We all go through that. But some interesting things going to be talked about today. So don't get angry. Anyway, on to the propers. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. I thank you all for doing that, helping the YouTube channel grow. You can follow me on Twitter at Lefty643. That's Twitter.com/Lefty643. Thank you to everybody that's been donating to the show. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. That's I'mRaising.com/643 Productions if you want to help out the show. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody had some donations roll in. Thank you all for doing that. Appreciate it very much. And thank you to everybody that has been helping the show grow. You want to help the show grow. You want to do your part, right? It's easy to do now. We got an RSS feed, leftyshow.podbean.com. Subscribe manually there, or subscribe to the feed wherever you get your podcasts for your PC, tablet, or mobile device, Android, iOS, it does not matter. Search The Lefty Show wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the feed. Download all the episodes at your leisure. Again, just search The Lefty Show. All right. Let's get down to it. In my traditional way of getting down to it, by circling around the issue for a couple minutes, talking about things, getting some housework, getting some things cleaned up and taken care of before we talk about something that I just came across today, and I just had to talk about it. I am an atheist. To say that right now, I don't know how long this video will stay up or how long this channel will remain active. I've said that for years to come, not like in the immediate future. I mean, 10 years down the road. I don't know. But I'm an atheist. And I am somebody also who has not looked particularly fondly on the Pope. Scoozy. Pope Scoozy. Pope Francis. I haven't looked kind on many popes, especially Benedict. Old-looking bitch. Shuffling around kid diddlers. Oh, yeah, he signed his name on one report that condemned it. Ooh, he's still shuffling around kid diddlers. Not a big fan of the Catholic Church in general. The institution of Catholicism. And the institution, to a larger extent, of religion. Not a big fan of it at all. I think it's wrong as a way to explain our existence and explain our universe and describe what we see and also predict. I think science does a much, much better, more reliable job than religion does. Belief than all those things. And while I am that way, I'll yuck it up when religious people do dumb things. I will. When people are slicing off the clitoris of girls because their religion says that it's okay because they need to domineer over their wife and removing any sexual pleasure or making sex a lot less pleasurable for them will mean they're less likely to commit adultery, I'm going to laugh at that. And I'm going to say, ha, religion's stupid. Ha, ha, ha. Religion is stupid and humans are stupid. You put the two together and stupid stuff happens. More stupid stuff. Atheists do stupid things all the time. But we don't have a religion as like garnish. It's like a multiplier. It's like a multiplier. Multipass. I said multipass. Lilu dalis multipass. But while I will yuck it up at what religion does from time to time, and while I will be critical, I'll say critical, right? That works. I'll say critical, highly critical, hypercritical of the leaders and the spokespersons, spokespeople, I guess is probably the better term, the representatives of the institution of religion, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, doesn't matter. I will be hypercritical of them. Like I have been many times with Pope Francis. This guy's done nothing. Done nothing. Absolutely nothing. All he's done is eloquently said things that don't really deviate from church policy or what other people have said in the name of the church. So I'm not the biggest fan of the guy. Not that he's a bad person. Not that he's a bad dude, although he did kind of hiding in Rome a kid diddler from South America. Kind of just sitting around there for a year under Francis's watch. I don't think many people are talking about that. But, yeah, you know, you hide one kid diddler, it's not that big of a deal. It's like a misdemeanor. In the Catholic Church, at least, it's a misdemeanor. And, oh, now he's going to be put on trial. Okay. And I'll laugh because so many people think that because this guy wears ornate robes and ornate jewelry, that what he has to say, people abandon reason and rationality when talking about religion. And I like to point that out because once in a while you'll get somebody that goes, holy crap, I am completely unreasonable when I'm being religious, when I'm letting my religion, my beliefs dominate and dictate what I say, especially when it comes to trying to contradict science. And again, I want to reiterate, you can believe whatever you want. You can believe whatever you please. What we're going to talk about today, you can listen to all of it. All of it. And this is assuming that I'm right. There's a possibility that I'm wrong here and there. Or even grossly wrong. It's happened before. But even assuming I'm right and I fire on all cylinders, you're perfectly fine in walking away saying, okay, I still believe. There's nothing I can say. Okay, well, all right. There you go. Your religion, your beliefs are completely up to you. I don't know. We haven't found like a religion gene, have we? That's the next thing. We found the gay gene, which is good because now we can stop fighting with people who are like, hey, you're choosing to do it. No, they don't. Same way you supposedly like vagina, they like penis or vagina. Depending on their sexuality or their gender. So Maybe next up is we find a religion gene. But as of right now, it's a belief you hold. And I'm not going to, it wouldn't be right for me to say you need to stop that. I think for humanity as a whole to continue, and I'm talking generations down the road, tens, hundreds of generations from now, if humanity is to survive for a long time, one thing we need to do is get off this planet. We need to get off this planet. We need to be able to get up and go within 10,000 years' notice. We need to do it. 5,000 years, maybe. Maybe even 1,000 years. We see something coming. Holy crap! We got to go. We need to be able to do that. And I think religion is one of the things that will impede that. Religion is one of the things that will impede what we need to do in order to get to that point. Because there will always be somebody who says, it doesn't agree with my religion. I'm not signing on with this, and I'm going to try to, this is blasphemy. This is blasphemous. Blast them. This is blasphemous, and I'm going to try to undo what you're doing because it's so blasphemous. You're blaspheming. Ooh, you blasphemer. I'm going to stop you. And I think we need to do away with it. And also, what doing away with religion, hundreds, thousands of generations, over the course of hundreds of thousands of generations will do is it will kind of remove the flag that people fly when they do some pretty bad things. The aforementioned slicing off of women's clits happens in deeply religious countries and done in the name of religion. Religious extremists of all colors, of all creeds, do some horrendous things. You only need to look as far as Gaza and the West Bank to see that. Lots of people say, it's only radical Islam. No, it's not. Judaism has its share of bad stuff that they do in the name of their state, quote, or state/religion. Christianity, that's throughout history, done really, really, really bad things in the name of God, in the name of my religion, in the name of my beliefs. And I think we need to do away with that. At some point, just no more of this. That's it. No more. It will not be allowed for humanity over the course of 10,000, 100,000 years. If we want to survive as modern humans, as a, quote, modernistic, industrialized society, I think religion is one of the things that needs to go. Next up, capitalism. Capitalism isn't getting us anywhere. Not going to happen. But I'll refer you to different episodes of The Lefty Show for rants on the sustainability, super long term of capitalism. Right now, everybody's got to have their hustle. I understand that. But I'm talking in terms of winning the game of existence, which means you can survive a cataclysmic event, a planet-killing event on your home planet. To me, you've won the game of existence at that point. And I think religion is an impediment to that end. So that's my stance, okay? That's where I'm coming from when I talk about this. But I'm not going to take away, at this point, I'm not taking away your right to believe what you want. Believe what you want. Believe it. I'm not going to tell you to not. What I will tell you to do is that when you spout it publicly and then I make fun of it, well, you don't got anything to say. You believe what you believe inside your own head and inside your own home and inside your own church. Then when you make it public, I can say what I want in response. That's just how we operate. Your belief, once you make it public, and once you start pontificating on your beliefs, you open yourself up to criticism, ridicule, questioning, circumspection from everybody. Not just me. This is some a-hole on the internet. Blah, bad. So, with all that said, I think I've basically covered the gist of my view on religion. This is from theindependent.co.uk. Pope Francis. It's entitled Pope Francis Declares Evolution and Big Bang Theory Are Right, and God Isn't a, quote, magician with a magic wand. The theories of evolution and the Big Bang are real, and God is not a, quote, magician with a magic wand, Pope Francis has declared. Speaking at the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, the Pope made comments which experts said put an end to the pseudo-theories of creationism and intelligent design that some argue were encouraged by his predecessor Benedict XVI. Francis explained that both scientific theories were not incompatible with the existence of a creator, arguing instead that they require it. Quote, when we read about creation in Genesis, we run the risk of imagining God as a magician, with a magic wand able to do everything. But that is not so, Francis said. He created human beings and let them develop according to the internal laws that he gave to each one so they would reach their fulfillment. The Big Bang, which today we hold to be the origin of the world, does not contradict the intervention of the divine creator, but rather requires it. Evolution in nature is not inconsistent with the notion of creation because evolution requires the creation of beings that evolve. End quote. The Catholic Church has long had a reputation for being anti-science, most famously when Galileo faced the Inquisition and was forced to retract his heretic theory that the earth revolved around the sun. And still it moves. He is said to have said, but a lot of people have cast down on that. But Pope Francis's comments were more in keeping with the progressive work of Pope Pius XII, who opened the door to the idea of evolution and actively welcomed the Big Bang Theory. And the TV show. Oddly enough, Pope Pius XII was like, I hope one day there's a show about a bunch of nerds in California. Yes, that'll be the day. So he likes the theory and the show. In 1996, John Paul II went further and suggested that evolution was more than a hypothesis and, quote, effectively proven fact, end quote. Yet more recently, Benedict XVI and his close advisors have apparently endorsed the idea that intelligent design underpins evolution, the idea that natural selection on its own is insufficient to explain the complexity of the world. In 2005, his close associate Cardinal Schoenborn wrote an article saying, evolution in the sense of common ancestry might be true, but evolution in the neo-Darwinian sense, an unguided, unplanned process, is not. Giovanni Bignami, a professor and president of Italy's National Institute for Astrophysics, told the Italian news agency Ad Chronos, the Pope's statement is significant. We are the direct descendants from the Big Bang that created the universe. Evolution came from creation. Giulio Giorello, professor of philosophy and science at Milan's University degli Studi, I butchered that, I'm sorry, told reporters that he believed Francis was, quote, trying to reduce the emotion of dispute or presumed disputes with science. Despite the huge gulf in theological stance between his tenure and that of his predecessor, Francis praised Benedict XVI as he unveiled a bronze bust of him at the Academy's headquarters in the Vatican Gardens. No one could ever say of him that study in science made him and his love for God and his neighbor wither, Francis said, according to the translation by Catholic News Service. On the contrary, knowledge, wisdom, and prayer enlarged his heart and his spirit. Let us thank God for the gift that he gave the church and the world with the existence and the pontificate of Pope Benedict. Now that's the money quote is Francis, lighten up Francis. That is Francis saying that the Big Bang Theory is not incompatible with a creator. Now, gonna get a little bit science-y on you. Now this is just layman stuff, and it may be wrong on the exact specifics, but as I understand it, the Big Bang is the theory that the universe and everything in it, time itself, began immediately following, down to the Planck length, the explosion of an asymmetrical singularity. everything in the universe, all of the energy, was compressed down to a point infinitely small. And because of some weird gobbledygook science talk, Neil deGrasse Tyson could explain it to you. I cannot. The singularity was, I believe the theory goes, like I said, asymmetrical. Meaning it began to fall apart and bam, there's the Big Bang. That's where the Big Bang comes. The Big Bang part of the Big Bang comes from. And from there, all the energy released, which began to expand and form space and time, began to cool, form matter, and from there, blah, 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 blah. And eventually, what is it, 14.6 billion years later? Boop, here we are. Hello. Hi. Hello.
That is totally absurd.
That's not absurd, Hawk Harrelson. You shut your damn mouth. I know Hawk Harrelson probably has a problem with this. That's the theory. Now, again, my limited understanding of astrophysics, of course it's limited, is that we are unable to see or reason past a singularity. Because at a singularity, time stops. It stops. Not slows down. Not that relativistic argument that that's so popular in science fiction for time travel and in stasis and all this stuff. Time began at the moment the asymmetrical singularity fell apart. Again, as I understand it. That's the origin of time. Time does not exist outside of singularities, or I believe a little bit more technically, we cannot prove in any way that time exists outside of a singularity, on the other side of a singularity, because there is absolutely no way we could see or interact with things past the singularity. Because we were created by this singularity falling apart. Boom. And in essence, information, the ability to have knowledge. Knowledge requires information, and information requires time. And because, practically speaking, for us, time was created at the singularity, there's no way we can discern anything outside of the singularity. Again, that's layman's. I know there's theories that dictate multiple universes, which effectively means that we're reasoning outside of our own singularity, but I don't know. That's uber complicated. That's actual math saying this is what exists, etc. And not even close. I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you as far as that goes. That's the crazy equations. You watch A Beautiful Mind, you see those crazy equations. You're like, oh my God. That's what we're talking about. And I may be wrong, but I think it a sound argument that we cannot reason past a singularity. And furthermore, nothing from the other side of that singularity can interact with us because it's a singularity. Because if there was time or some semblance of something on the other side of that ended at the singularity too. We are a self-contained thing in this thing of ours, this universe of ours, this thing of ours. It's a self-contained, really big, and expanding, and the rate at which it's expanding is accelerating. But that's what we are. And for the Pope to say, yes, the Big Bang, I like that. That's what it is. That's what da-da-da-da-da. It makes God irrelevant. Pope Francis has effectively argued that God is irrelevant. What created the singularity is completely irrelevant to us. It's a completely irrelevant question. We cannot interact with what happened, what existed, regardless of whether it created the singularity, we cannot interact with anything on the other side of the Big Bang singularity. And nothing from the other side of that singularity can interact with us. There's no need for a God. There's no need for a creator. We're here. Oh, hello. Hi. Well, what created us? Well, we came from a singularity. Yeah, well, what created that? Don't know. Can't know. As far as I know, it's completely impossible, utterly impossible to know what existed outside of that singularity. Completely impossible to know. We can theorize, but what Pope Francis has done is place God firmly on the same level as quantum foam. There's some theories that there exists outside what exists outside, and I'm out over my skis here a little bit. What exists outside of our universe or before was just a sea of energy called the quantum foam. And there would be singularities popping up all over the place, just waves. And the waves would add, and then you get a singularity. But then, if it was a symmetrical, it would just go back to nothing. Then one time, for some reason, I'm idiot. For some reason, that singularity was asymmetrical. Bam, here we are. Pope Francis has placed God on the same level as quantum foam. And to believe in God, to believe in a creator that created the Big Bang, God is now superfluous. Pope Francis has effectively argued that God, any creator of the universe, is superfluous. We don't need to believe in that creator now to explain the origin of the universe. Because at least with intelligent design, you had kind of a thing. You could kind of make it work. But now to say, oh, well, no, well, yeah, that Big Bang thing, yeah, that happened. But God created the Big Bang. Well, okay, so what? I assume you're right. You can't interact with God because you've just said God is on the other side of that singularity. Okay, well, if you throw in your lot with the Big Bang Theory, that Big Bang Theory, again, as I understand it, I may be wrong, says that we cannot see, interact, or know anything outside of a singularity. I believe it was Stephen Hawking said you can't reason past a singularity. You just can't do it. So, okay, there's a God out there. I call that whatever outside the singularity God. Okay, good. Can't interact with it. Can't see it, can't know it, can't reason it, and it can't interact with us. Because it would have to somehow enter our universe from whatever's not our universe. And how do you do that? And what's the mechanism by which it happens? Are there prayer particles? We're looking for the so-called, I believe they found the so-called God particle, or they think they did, but that's not what they were talking about. Are there prayer particles? Because that would be the way. How else does something that's not in our universe interact with the universe? And also, this is a completely human sentiment, but I'm going to set in motion things that 14.6 billion years later, in a nondescript galaxy, part of a nondescript supercluster, part of a group of superclusters that are nondescript in the observable universe, there are going to evolve shaved apes that find out about me. Ugh, I can't wait. Now, maybe if there is some kind of being or thing outside of our universe that does not exist in time, how it thinks, I don't know, because my only interaction with knowledge and thought requires time. But if it's without time, well, then 14.6 billion years is nothing. But then how does God think without time? Got a whole lot of questions now. Because the Pope has made a scientific point out of God. And you know what? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. God isn't necessary. This is your guy. Catholics, I'm sorry. Christians, I'm sorry. This is your guy. Your guy. Not my guy. Your guy. And here he is saying, yeah, Big Bang Theory, that's good. He scooped. Well, here are all the things that go along with that. God is now irrelevant. The existence of God. The creation of the universe, completely irrelevant. We are completely irrelevant. There's no way at all that we can see, know, reason, or interact with the creator of this universe, whatever it may be. Could be the quantum foam, could be Jesus. And there's no way, barring some postulation of prayer particles, there's no way that thing can interact with us. Pope Francis, Super Pope, I think has just finally put a bullet in religion. Because when he's forced to say, yeah, the Big Bang, yeah, that's good. Well, what have you just done? You've said, yeah, the Big Bang and then evolution from the Big Bang, that's what happened. Then, wow. Okay. Because when you agree to those things, God, those are the things that make God irrelevant. Those two things. Religion was trying to explain the world around us and our origin, not only the origin of the human species, but also the origin of the universe, to explain the things around us. That's what it was originally intended to do. You just said it doesn't need to do that anymore because science has it. Well, no God. There you go. Thanks, Pope. No God. We got no God. Woo! Yeah! 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 All right. High fives all around. No God, everybody. Yeah, high fives. And I say no God because some people might say, well, you don't know what's on the other. It's completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant whether there is a God. Completely. There's none. No reason we need to discuss it or ponder it any further. Because Pope Francis has placed God on the other side of a singularity. We don't need to worry about it anymore. All this other stuff that goes with religion, it's crap. It's irrelevant. It's nonsensical. Doesn't mean anything. If you want to talk about a creator of some kind, whatever, fine. But you're just there's just verbal diarrhea. Much of what this show is. But you're just saying things without any kind of, and nothing. It's just, something outside of this thing that I can never know, never ever know, and never ever see, or never ever interact with under any circumstances whatsoever. I think that guy's got a beard and sent his only kid to Earth. No. No, he didn't. And Pope Francis, unknowing, I'm sure he's got some way that he makes it all work out in his head. But to this layman, with his rudimentary understanding of astrophysics, no. And quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. Oh my God. Crazy stuff. You read Stephen Hawking now. Pick up a Stephen Hawking book. That Pope Francis has said. Pope Francis has now said, effectively, again, without knowing it, Stephen Hawking books carry more weight than the Bible. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Cosmos, is a better series than the Ten Commandments movie. Than all that crap. Science now is what rules the day, according to your guy. Your guy. Maybe this is the first step. Maybe I always thought that the lack of religion in society would have to come from a ban by a governing authority. Just nope, and you stamp it out. You just go around, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. You'll have literal religion police that just go around, bam, 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 like the Gestapo. As sad as it is, as sad of a comparison as that may be. But I always thought that's the way it would be. Maybe it will come from the leaders of organized religion having nowhere else to go. Because science has got you backed up to the singularity. That's where science has got you. The creationists hold out. The creationists said, no. Jesus, the earth was created 6,000 years ago or whatever the funky ass crap they believe in. They're the ones that eschewed even the Big Bang. They say, no, not that. No, not that. Because I think they're probably really smart people. And they realize, well, if we give up on the Big Bang and the evolution points, we got nothing. We got nothing. Because then explaining God, believing in God, just the simple question of whether there is a creator of this thing of ours, is completely irrelevant. When you back it up, when you move the goalposts outside of the singularity, because that was originally, the goalpost was, God created the earth and the sun and the stars, and we're the center of it. And Galileo said, excuse me. God, I love that Star Trek scene. Excuse me, what does God need with a starship? Shut up, Kirk, you bitch. Galileo said, excuse me. And then, okay. Well, then our sun is the center of the universe, I think it was the next iteration. Our solar system is the center of the universe. That's it. That's all there is. Well, no, actually, there's other stuff. Okay, well, God created all of it. The galaxy? No, there's other Damn it. God created all of it, I guess. The local group. God created the universe. Oh, so that means God's outside the singularity. Yeah. Well, then God's irrelevant. Good job, Pope. Boy, let's do some news. All right, we got a lot of things to talk about in the news today. I'm sorry, I'm reading Twitter. I've been tweeting about this God thing, and there's been some response on Twitter, and some people just a little bit too attached to the GOD, just a little bit too attached to the GOD. I would say, not willing at all to give it up. It's funny stuff. Somebody said, GG Pope, God is meaningless. So you think the Pope saying God is compatible with Catholicism, your team, God is compatible with the Big Bang means your team wins? Drivel. Oh man, the Catholics coming to get me. Team Catholicism, baby. Yeah. God, just idiots. God, why? Why does that happen? I know it's the news with Lefty. We got to talk about some news. But why do people completely abandon reason and rationality when Jesus comes up? Or Allah, or whatever. I use Jesus as just a placeholder. It could be anything. Why? Why? I mean, I know what it is for a lot of people. I know what it is for a lot. For some, it's power. But I believe for many people, it's not wanting to let go of the notion that this is the only shot you got. That there is nothing waiting for you on the other side of when you die. And they don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe that they're not important. They don't want to believe that this is all we got. And even our own consciousness is just kind of a crapshoot. Oh, crap. I think therefore I am. Wow. And they don't want to believe that. It's scary. And so they go, screw you. Jesus wins. Team Jesus. It's okay. You're going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's nothing that lies beyond it. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe consciousness is archetypal. And the idea, as strange as it sounds, the idea of reincarnation, the idea that your consciousness, given enough trials, your consciousness will show up again, or whatever consciousness bred you, whatever archetypal consciousness when you were born turned into you. Okay, but that's it, man. That's all you got. Let it go. Because when you try to argue with people and you arbitrarily won't let go of things because you're scared, we lose. You just lose automatically. I know it's the strangest thing. Whenever this topic comes up, people, oh my God, I can't believe it. I won't believe it. All right. This was some funny news the other day. Walmart on their website, walmart.com, in case you didn't know. Walmart on their website had a section for Halloween costumes. And there was a section devoted specifically for costumes for people that have some fat stores on them. There was a section of the website devoted to, again, because you know, there's every Halloween, I don't know when this happened. I don't know when it happened. Somebody needs to study this. When did it happen that female Halloween costumes turned into slutty this or that? When did that happen? I first noticed it in college. I didn't notice it before. I don't know. I wasn't like a party goer in high school, so I don't know. Maybe that was going on then too. But it turned into, you know, because when I was a kid, when I was like in junior high and elementary school and people dressed up, the kids dress, you know, I'm a police officer or a cowboy, and the girls dressed up as like I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, but it was just like, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a zombie. I'm not like a sexy zombie, like my panties are hanging out, or like here's my cleavage. God, that would be weird in 5th grade. But it was just like, I'm a zombie. Oh, I'm a baseball player. Or a ninja. No slutty ninjas, just ninjas. Lots of ninjas. I was a ninja for like 4 years in a row. Awesome. Loved being a ninja. So cool. Ninjas are so cool. But right around the time I got to college, I noticed like, oh, what are you? Like, oh, I'm slutty Tinkerbell. It's like, I'm Tinkerbell, but my boobs are hanging out. And, you know, I'm wearing a bikini. And it's like, well, you know, single version of me at the time, I was, hell yeah. But then I realized, when did this happen? Why is everybody like, especially women, you know, when did it turn into you can't dress up for Halloween unless you're a slutty version of this or that? Why can't girls just go as zombies or doctors or you know, a meme or something? Why do they have to be like, you know, oh, I saw, you know, they call it gender bending now, but it's the same thing. Oh, I'm gender bending Punisher. No, you're just wearing a skin tight neoprene outfit with your boobs all accentuated. It's like, why don't you just go as the Punisher? Why do you have to? I don't know. I don't get it. But as we all know, not everybody in America, especially America, has a beach bod. And those people, they get to dress up for Halloween too. And Walmart had a section of their website under the Halloween costumes for people of a plus size nature. But somebody at Walmart called that section fat girl costumes. And they were all costumes for women of a plus size nature. And, you know, there's a lot of outrage about this. You know, how can Walmart do this? They owe people an apology. I was offended, this or that. And, you know, it's one of those, I don't know. It's one of those things where the people that are fat know they're fat. And I've seen this on Reddit the last few days. There's like an MRI of like an obese person and a quote normal person, or a normal person. And with the caveat at the end, please take care of yourself. Just condescending crap. And there's a definite stigma in our society about being fat. Oddly enough, many people are fat, but there's still a stigma associated with it. And while plus-sized is the term du jour for, well, fat people clothes, plus-sized or big and tall for male. Plus-sized is the female version, or usually gender neutral, and then big and tall is usually, I believe, reserved for men. But while I understand it, you know, while calling somebody fat the colloquialism of fat is meant to, it's like you have excess of fat stores in your body and blah, 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 blah. And while I get that it's a description, it's one of those things where you're not wrong when you call a fat person fat. When you go, oh, wow, you're fat. You need to do something about that. Or, you're fat. Do you want to do something about that if you're a healthcare provider or something? Well, you're not wrong when you say it. You're just an a-hole. You're just, because there are many other ways to say you got a weight problem, or you have it's usually a fat problem. What do you want to do about it? Because who was that guy in, I don't know, what was it called? Game of Thrones, who's like 6'10" and 400 pounds. He doesn't have a weight problem. He's just a big dude. He's a really big dude. There are many different ways to identify somebody, a fat person is fat, but you choose the term fat and all the stigma that goes along with it. It's like you stand for it. When you use the term in its connotation. You use all the things that go along with it. When you stand up for the flag, when you stand up for the stars and bars, you stand for all of it. When you choose to use the term fat, well, you're not wrong because the person is fat, but come on, why you got to be an a-hole about it? Oh, well, I'm just describing. No, you're not, because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you and also, do you really think the fat people need to be told they're fat? Do you really think they don't know? Honestly. Well, I'm just telling them just to make sure. Like this condescending Reddit bullcrap, this trend now. All these self-aggrandizing a-holes. You don't think the fat people know they're fat? You don't think they know? Of course they know. They know. Drug abusers know they have a problem. They know they have a problem. They know. Alcoholics know they have a problem. They do. Well, the first step is admitting you have a problem. They already know. They just don't want to do anything about it. Fat people know they're fat. You don't need to go, oh, you're fat. Yeah. Duh. Well, you don't think I know? What am I, blind? An idiot? Even blind people probably know they're fat. You don't need to go around telling, oh, that person's fat. I was just telling them. But, again, while there is that, you're not wrong, you're just an a-hole, and there's better ways to observe that somebody has a problem with their fat stores or their weight or whatever you want to call it. I don't know why Walmart is getting such heat over this. Fat girl costumes. That was the moniker for the section. Fat girl costumes. That's what they're for. That's what they're for. What would you? Okay, and it was wrong, and it offended people, and you're not wrong, Walmart. You're just an a-hole, and you apologize. That should be it. Oh, sorry, our bad. There's an intern that just probably one of these self-aggrandizing Reddit a-holes, and they were just being condescending. Our apologies. We love all our customers regardless of their waist size or bust size, and go on about your business. Why does people organizing boycotts and I'm never shopping there again? Bullcrap. Because if it was plus size, you wouldn't have said anything. Why do they need to single out fat people? Because you go there because fat people need clothes too, you jackasses. Yeah, they used the wrong term, and it was kind of mean-spirited probably on the part of the person that wrote it. And you know what it could have also been? Could have been a mistake. It could have been somebody that was an early iteration of the formation of the website, and they just, we need to figure out what we're going to call this section. It's completely internal. We're not pushing it to the website yet. We need to figure out what we're going to call this section. Well, I want to call it this. Well, I want to call it that. Okay, well, we got to go up the chain to figure out what the bigwigs want to call it. So just leave a name in there so we'll know what it is. and we can't possibly forget about it. Okay, I'll call it fat girl costumes. So just so we need to talk about that. And then they forgot, and then it got pushed to live. It's not nefarious. It's not in that context, it's not mean-spirited at all. Plus size this, no, it's fat girl costumes. Okay, we need to know what we're going to talk about, what we're going to name it. And we need to remember that we need to talk about it. Let's call it fat girl costumes. And there you go. That's what you call it. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that it went to live. Okay. Walmart apologized. That really should be the end of it, shouldn't it? Shouldn't that really be the end of it? Walmart, you pay your due. You're not like, fat people are awful. If Walmart is honestly trying to wage a war against fat people, they really don't understand their demographic. Go to a Walmart and just people watch and tell me if you think Walmart should be waging a war against fat. In other news, this is as we head on home, hit the home stretch of the Lefty Show. In another episode of what the hell are we doing to ourselves in our society, East Tennessee mother jailed for having overgrown bushes in her yard. Aw. Over the summer, East Tennessee resident Karen Holloway fell behind on her yard maintenance. She told WVLT Local 8 News, "With my husband going to school and working full-time, me with my job, with one vehicle, we were trying our best. City officials cited her for failing to keep up with her yard work, and last week, Lenoir County City Judge Terry Vann sentenced her to 5 days in jail. Holloway, who is raising 2 children in addition to working, had gotten into trouble with lawn code enforcers in the past during a period when her husband was overseas serving his country in the military. At a hearing on Tuesday, Holloway pled for leniency, offering to do 5 days of community service as an alternative to jail time. Judge Vaughn refused her proposal, but reduced her jail time to 6 hours. According to WVLT Local 8 News, Holloway said the bushes and trees were overgrown. But that's certainly not a criminal offense. It's not right. Why would you put me in jail with child molesters and people who've done real crimes because I haven't maintained my yard? Pictures of her overgrown bushes. Oh, come on. Come on. You got to know what you're writing. You got to know what you're writing when you write that sentence. You have to know, don't you? Pictures of her overgrown bushes. Come on. You can't start a sentence that way when you're writing this story. You just can't do it. Pictures of her overgrown bushes and trees can be seen in the above embedded video footage provided by News Channel 5 Nashville. Holloway said that she was never read her Miranda rights and that officials did not offer her the opportunity to be represented by an attorney. Despite the fact that she was sentenced to jail time, Judge Vaughn said that Holloway's case was classified as non-criminal. She reported to jail on Tuesday evening to serve her time. As another condition of her sentence, code enforcers will check up on her yard in November, and if it does not meet the city's standards, she could be sentenced to further jail time. We're putting people in jail for non-criminal offenses. We used to do something like that. We used to have things like that. They were called debtor prisons. People went to jail if they owed a debt, not just to the government. If you got into debt with somebody, they could hold you and put you in a jail of sorts. I don't think you would be housed with like criminals. It would be a prison of other people that were in debt to others. But we had debtor prisons, and we did away with them for, I think, some pretty good reasons. Now, you're sending people to jail for violating some administrative ordinance. It's not a criminal, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, they can rightfully assume that you're the driver of the car, or they're ticketing the car with the traffic cameras. They're ticketing the cars because it's a civil offense. It's not criminal. And that's how they can get away with assuming that. I don't buy it. I still think that's wrong. But, all right, you're not going to jail for violating this administrative. Because when you go to jail for a traffic violation, you were violating a criminal statute. You're not going to jail. They're not showing up to put you in cuffs because your front end of your car was over the thick white line at an intersection, or you turned right when it said no turn on red. They're not putting you in jail for that. But now, code enforcement, which is administrative, code enforcement says your trees are overgrown. I'm not going to say bushes. I'm not going to say, that. Your trees are overgrown, and you don't do anything about it. You're arrested? Arrested! And booked. For what? This woman is arrested for having a big bush. What are we doing? Why? How could any reasonable person look at that and go, yep, that works? Because if we allow people to be put in jail even for 6 hours, oh, well, it was only 6 hours. Kiss my ass. Shouldn't be anything. It should be pay a fine. You become delinquent in your fines, that's another thing entirely. Then, okay, then if you're delinquent in fines and you're violating a criminal statute, okay. But it shouldn't be anything. And how could anybody look at that and go, oh, yeah, put them in jail, boom, boom, boom. Because when you do that, you're bringing back debtor prisons. Debtor prisons are on the way back, I guess. Let's bring it home. Woo, another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining me. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can find the show in its YouTube formation. You can also find gaming content and vlogs there. Be sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/LeftyOX. Some great things going on there. Thank you to everybody for following me on Twitter. @Lefty643 is where you can do that. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Thank you to everybody that has been donating. A big bow and thanks to everybody that's been doing so at imraising.com/643 Productions. That's imraising.com/643 Productions. If you want to donate to the show, help out, it's a great way to do so. I thank you all for doing so. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show with friends, family, and co-workers, helping the show grow. Great way to do it. Download the show, subscribe to the feed wherever you get your podcast for your PC, tablet, or mobile device, Android, iOS, it does not matter. Search The Lefty Show. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
He's got AIDS.